So welcome to the channel. And in this video, I sit down with Caitlin, aka Small Fry, Avalu, and Rihanna. They talk about what it's like to train and compete in BJJ and how they got started. Like I always say, slap, bump, and roll. Let's go. All right, so give me your names and how long you've been training.
I'm Caitlin. I've been training for 2.5 years.
I'm Iva, and I have been training since 2010.
I'm Rihanna, and I've been training about 15, 16 years.
All right. So anybody can answer these questions at any time. Like that was just a warm to let everybody know who you are. So, what made you train and we'll just go. What made you train? Like, what made you start off training?
Here we go.
You can go.
Okay. I was in the Army. I joined the Army in 2006 and started doing the Army combatives training then. And I didn't actually get into jiu-jitsu until one of my friends, we were doing a combatives tournament, and he was whooping up on everybody, just killing everybody. And I asked him like how he was doing it and how he learned that training, and he had said that he's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. So I actually didn't start jiu-jitsu until 2010 in Missouri at Fort Leonard Wood. I can't even remember the name of the gym, honestly, anymore, because it was just a ragtag group. And one of the gyms on post started doing jiu-jitsu on the weekends and at night, because one of my friends was a brown belt out there, and he was training everybody.
Well, I started doing karate when I was 12 or 13, and my karate teacher was doing jiu-jitsu, and then a couple years later he started introducing it into our karate classes, and after a while the demand in the area began to grow for jiu-jitsu, so he started offering it as its own class, and that was a long time ago, 15 years ago.
I used to play softball, and I wanted to do something during the off season, so I came and did this, and then I quit softball because I like this more.
Right.
And I started out here.
So, what are your belt rankings right now? Where do you stand at?
I'm a purple belt.
I'm a purple belt.
I'm a yellow belt.
Oh, let's do yellows. Let's do yellows. Nothing wrong with the yellows. So,
But how old are you?
I'm 15,
exactly.
so
yeah. So you're 15 and you're loving it, right?
yeah.
So what are your friends thinking about it?
I don't really know. They tell me not to hurt them.
I think that's a common.
Yeah.
I think that's a common sentiment among people who don't train.
Yeah.
They don't know what we do.
So what do your parents think about your training?
They like it. My mom freaks out whenever I compete and stuff because she doesn't want me to get hurt. But my dad really likes it.
So you and your brother both compete.
Yeah.
How many medals have y'all won so far?
I have 11. He has not that many. He has 8, I think.
So what about you?
As far as competing,
Yeah.
I've been in only 2 or 3 tournaments, but I've medaled in each one.
I have a lot. I don't know. I started competing when I moved to Fort Drum, New York in 2011, I think, or 2012. And since then, I've usually compete 2 to 3 times a year. This is one of the years that I actually haven't competed at all. So, and usually every time I compete, because there's not a lot of girls out there training, medal. So.
It's hard to find big female divisions, so it's usually only 2 people, maybe.
Yeah. 2 or 3 people, but the largest divisions I've seen is at Worlds, and that's where you're bringing in all the competition from all over the world. And in those competitions, it's usually maybe 10 to 12 girls in a bracket. So it's still not even that big.
So why do y'all think that the women's division isn't as big as the men's division? But because I know from experience, the women's division seems a lot more aggressive on the mat compared to the men. But
I think it's that way with fighting too. So
Yeah.
I think women just have maybe a little more push, and I mean, I don't know why they don't train. I think that plenty of the women we see are really talented. A lot of them just sort of fall off and never come back, and I don't know what it is that's causing that.
So would you say, for mothers, I mean, y'all are both mothers, so when, well, apparently she's sitting in
And she trains.
and she trains. So what would you say to other women that have children that will get them to train?
Bring their kids. So, I mean, my girls, they train. It's easier to train if your kids are doing it too, then it becomes sort of like a family sport. And everyone's involved, everyone's a little more supportive of each other.
That and then you can, a lot for us is like, she likes to practice at home on me. This thing. She likes to practice her triangles and her back takes, and even though she's tiny, she still likes it.
Yeah, so when I was talking to Hoffa, he was talking about the whole family atmosphere, and you know, gym becomes part of your family, and then when your family's there, like you're a lot more close-knit at home. Y'all feel the same way? I mean, with your brother training,
Yeah.
you and your dad always is here working out. Your dad's a beast too, don't get it wrong now. I'm still trying to get into the mat, he's still a beast. He hasn't come over yet. So
That's
y'all
a
think
discussion now
Yeah,
about why her dad is not on the mat.
that is a discussion. So,
No, she has told him to not come on the mat.
oh, have you?
Her stick.
Yeah, he used to do it. He did it. Me and him both started out at the same time.
So you think you surpassed your dad as far as
Well, he don't do it no more.
there's that attitude. There's that attitude. So what would you say to teenage girls to get them to train?
I think they should all do it. I mean, especially nowadays, people are always like, you need to watch your back as a teenage girl, but I mean, I like it. It's fun. And like, everyone's so nice and stuff, so it's not like it'd be awkward. I think it's just a good thing to do.
So as far as, say if somebody was bullying you, you feel comfortable defending yourself now?
But more confident than I used to be, at least.
So you've gained confidence since you've been training?
Definitely.
Alright. So what is it like training with guys? Like, y'all feel uncomfortable with it? 'Cause I know some gyms have like women only nights because they're not comfortable training with guys. But I mean, all three of y'all are beasts, but still, like, what would you say to women that have that fear?
I think a lot of women are nervous, but it's not necessarily about rolling with men only, because I'll roll with new girls and they'll be just as nervous to roll with me as they will with, you know, some guy. Yeah, so I mean, I think it just takes some getting comfortable with the movements and with the sport itself, and knowing, you know, it's not a sexual thing. It's a combative sport.
And you're gonna get close.
You're gonna get
No matter what.
Yeah.
You're going
There's
home
no
and
getting
people
away from
sweat
that.
on you. Yeah, yeah.
So you cannot be a germaphobe and be on the mat, huh?
No.
You won't. You probably won't last, or you'll be hating it.
So who are some of the women in the that compete that you would look up to, or you know, say maybe an idol of some sort?
I really like watching any of the black belt competitions, especially when they're the heavyweight division, just because I can see things that I can aspire to. Because it's like you're not 120 pounds, you're over that 170 or 165 limit. Most of them are a lot heavier than that who are competing at that level, and to see them be able to do that movement and to have the success that they've had, any of those women are my inspiration.
Yeah, the big girls. When they're moving fast, they're strong. You know, I mean, they don't need to have six pack to be strong. Throwing people around.
Yeah, I think I like watching all the girls because it's like, wow, you're doing that. That's so cool. Like, yeah.
So you're more gi or no gi?
Gi.
No-gi.
Yogi.
No gi. Oh, okay. So here's the debate. Let's figure this out. So why are you about the gi?
Well, it's so much harder to get grips in no gi, and like I'm smaller than everyone, so like I can hold on. No gi, I can't really.
So what do y'all think?
I like no-gi because I can move a lot easier. I'm not stuck in a position on the mat because my gi's holding me or my belt's holding me. And like she said, the grips, you don't got grips, so you really have to rely on your athleticism and your strength. And if you don't have that, that's something that you can work on.
I started with no-gi, so it's sort of, you know, the base. It's what I started with, it's what I'm most comfortable with, and then also I feel like I can move so much better. I don't feel, you know, constrained by the gi that's too big, it's bulky, it's in the way. They can't be grabbing at my rash guard.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
And you can still do chokes, you can still do submissions, it's still there. To me, it's a little bit more applicable, especially if you're a fighter, than gi, because you're not going to be able to do some spider guards from no gi or in a fight. It's a lot more applicable to any other sport that you're trying to get into.
In like real world too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's one of the most memorable matches or fights you've had? Because I know you fought. Have you fought?
Have I fought?
Yeah.
Like
in the cage?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was just karate and jits. Okay. So what's some of the one that stands out in your mind?
my first competition, my very first match, I got a belly down armbar, and at the podium, the girl that I beat, her mother came up to me and said, "You hurt my baby," and I thought she was gonna hit me. She didn't, but it was that fire in her eyes. I was scared.
I'm trying to think. Probably my most memorable moment in the cage was my first fight. I was really nervous and I didn't know what to expect. And our weigh-ins, it was in Missouri, so our weigh-ins, I did my weigh-in at my gym, and I didn't even know if my competitor weighed in. I don't even know if she was going to show up. And when she showed up to the venue, she looked at me and said, "Oh wow, I'm fighting you?" And I was like, "Yeah, hi, how are ya?" And she's like, "I don't know if I'm going to do this." I'm like, "Please, don't back out on me. Let's do this." But I won by TKO in that fight, and it was a memorable moment for me just because it had been everything I'd been training for. Probably when I first started, I started in July and my first fight was in November, so
That was fast.
yeah, it was fast. But I was like, it was the thing that I had been training for, and I was so excited about it, and all my friends came out, and half of my company came out to support me. It was awesome. Like, it was just a great feeling. And then to win like that, it's a great feeling.
I like all of my competitions, mainly because I get to go against guys, and me beating a guy is fun because I'm a girl. So, but I like going in the women's division because I'm so much smaller than all of them. And the one where I went against only women, it was 150 pounds and under. That one was fun because that was the first time I beat a woman. It was just really fun. I like being able to be the smallest person there and beat them.
Yeah, because you compete against adult women, though, right?
Yeah.
We're not just saying women as in girls in general. We're talking about people that are 20.
18 over.
Yeah. Okay.
I went against the oldest I think I've gone against is 32, maybe. I think. Yeah.
And you're still 15,
Yeah.
and you're still competing, and still going home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I know, talking to other fighters and other coaches, tell us about the nervousness before your match. What does it feel like?
I don't really get as nervous for me anymore. It's just all the other people competing. I still get nervous for me, but everyone else competing, that gets my nerves up. I don't want any of them to get hurt, especially my brother and stuff.
For me, it's right before I go out on the mat or step wherever I'm going to step for the competition, and it's kind of that rush where I have to take a breath so that I don't have an adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
Because that's horrible.
That's awful.
Yeah. The strength goes out.
It's I can't do anything anymore.
Yeah. Your mind goes blank, everything.
Especially like 7 rolls in. Like
7 rolls. Well,
Yeah.
One roll in.
yeah, 1 roll in. Yeah, like yeah.
I think my fear is the fear of the unknown. You don't know these other people. You don't know how good they are. You don't know if they're sandbagging. You don't know if they're gonna catch you in something. You've been training all this time, and it's not gonna matter. They're gonna be better. You want to be better. You want to win. And so going against people you don't know before, you train. You're like, oh, okay, I know what that guy's good at. I can kind of work with that, or
Work around that.
yeah, or I know I can smash that guy, so it's gonna be no big deal. Or I know this one's gonna make me work. These people, you have no idea who they are. You don't know their skill.
Yeah. I've noticed that since being down here, because this is the longest place I've been since I've started ever competing. So I'm starting to know my competitors, because we're all the same. Nobody's dropped down several weight classes, so usually it's the same girls that you see. So for me, it's like, well, I don't know how they've been training. I know some of their strengths from competing with them before, but not knowing what they've been working on. So it's still that unknown.
There's nothing wrong with that. So is there anything y'all want to say before we end this? Any comments?
Come out and train, ladies. Just come out and train. See if you like it.
There's a lot of support. You go to gyms, all the women are really supportive of each other. Every gym I've ever been to, the women are there for you. Even the dudes, but the women especially.
I think we should have more women training than men, honestly, because I love to see women compete. Like, I have friends that are like, I don't understand how you watch these women train and fight. I was like, it is a beautiful sport, and you can see how women interact completely different than men on that. Because a guy's gonna talk junk, he's gonna just be pretty much just gonna be a straight out jerk. And women are just like, I came to handle business. We can talk about it later, but for right now, I came to handle business.
I'll be your friend later. We're not going to be friends before that.
I don't think I've ever ended up like match in a competition and not gotten a hug from the girls.
Yeah, usually. And I usually friend them afterwards, like on Facebook or Instagram, because I like to keep my contacts. Like, one of my friends, Lauren, she's in Washington State now, and we competed in New York together. We had the double rainbow unicorn spats on, and it was the greatest thing ever. And it's one of those things that every year comes up on my time hop, and I'll message her and I'll be like, hey, I still miss you. And she's a brown belt, I think, in Washington, and just keeping those connections. And I made friends with people in Tennessee and Georgia and Florida. It's kind of like my Army connections. It's keeping connections with the ladies of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's awesome.
I do that too. I'll friend girls. Last competition that I did, I won my match, but I tore my ACL.
Oh.
And the girl I was rolling against, we added each other on Facebook, and I follow her now, and she's done several big matches. Yeah, she's done some of the super fights and stuff that have been on the Flow Grappling, and she's doing great. It's nice to see how they're doing and how they're progressing.
So what do y'all have coming up as far as competitions? Anybody competing soon?
There's October, mid-October, I think
It's like
there's
the
one.
26th, I think.
Yeah,
Is
for
it?
IBJJF Charlotte.
No, that's the New Breed.
There's New Breed,
the
there's-
5th of October.
Okay.
Then there's the Atlanta Open in September.
So everybody wants to go, right?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my back to heal up, but I also signed up with Hoffa for the Queen of the South competition
you?
in November. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So
Hopefully I will make that.
hopefully I'll be well enough for that. I'm gonna try to come back to training like soon.
Well, that's all I had. If y'all are good with that. Y'all are good?
Thank you, Sanchez.
Thanks. I'm glad y'all did it.
Thank you. Boom.
Focus, there we go. So that was these ladies behind me. See them? Great content, great day, great interview. Need more women in jits. Like I always say at the end of my videos, slap, bump, and roll. Let's get it.
More women in BJJ.